Right, there we start. So, at the end of the course, at the end of also our spectrum of breathing, so the fireworks finally arrived. Yes, we're going to go to fast breathing, and this article is actually about holotropic breathing, which is actually on the far end. So, we started, let's say, with slow breathing, super slow breathing, then, of course, our natural flows, and now we're going to the fast breathing and the therapy around that part. So my article is from Sarah Holmes and colleagues, and it's called Holotropic Breathwork, an experiential approach to psychotherapy. The article is from 1997 and is made at the University of Georgia. So yes, 1997, that's quite a long time ago, almost 30 years ago. So from that point of view, you expect actually that quite some research has been made and that this might be a little bit outdated. However, when I was looking for more research, very little has actually been done over time, so this article seemed to be relevant for this time. So first, let's explain me a little more about holotropic breathing. Holotropic breathing is actually a modality which introduced by Stanislav and Christina Grof in the mid-70s as an alternative for psychedelic experiments, which was including also LSD. Because it got banned, they were looking for alternatives. He was looking actually at tribal past, or let's say still tribes which using, let's say, music and breathing to get in trance. And his thoughts about becoming into trance is getting into a different kind of experience where you might maybe elevate yourself from your normal ego, from your normal perception of now, into a greater area of understanding what your purpose is, and hence improving, let's say, your psychological issues, most which are related to trauma. Anyway, so he recognized three levels: biogeographical, that's actually more, let's say, like what people experience in past and having now psychological problems with trauma. Then he calls prenatal experience, so he says also during birth or even before birth there might be a lot of trauma being involved in the person. And there's also then a transpersonal level where it seems to be even more, let's say, in a much bigger area. So he is very much of an advocate for transpersonal change also, and holotropic breathing fits in that part very well. So Sarah Holmes and her colleagues conducted a research of 48 subjects. One group, 24 subjects, were having psychotherapy weekly sessions and a monthly session over 6 months of holotropic breathing. So we call these the breathwork group. And then they had also the therapy group, which only had psychotherapy every week. So they conducted, let's say, the research looking for 4 different parameters. One parameter is death anxiety, where they had a forest scale being found, which is very useful. Then they had also the affiliation scale, so where we feel affiliated to each other, they use that as well. And they also have the self-esteem scale, which also is a scale which has been used in the past to find out people's self-esteem. Also, they gave them a questionnaire about how they perceive their problems and how they perceive the importance of their problems. So the results were actually pretty interesting. 2 parts did not have any difference. So the affiliation part, so people were still in the same feeling of affiliation towards each other after 6 months. So the beginning, at the 3 months, at 6 months, so that each interval made some research then. Then also the part of perceiving their problems didn't change, either by breathwork group or the therapy group. But interestingly, the death anxiety over time decreased very strongly in the holotropic breath group, and also self-esteem improved as well in the group of holotropic breathing, which is very encouraging. Now, there must be a few, let's say, parts we said is that the group of breathers, they also had already previous experience in holotropic breathing. So the question is whether this was then only because of the research they did and used that method, or that they had already past experiences in that. The other limitation is, of course, group size. There's only 24 subjects in each group, so which is pretty small. And there was also a little bit of not random, so maybe a little bit of self-bias of the groups being put into different locations, which might also have been influencing the results. Yeah, as I said, it seems to be very, very encouraging that we see that with holotropic breathing, we see changes in death anxiety, and also changes in self-esteem. Now, definitely more research has to be done. I've been looking up a little bit of research, Jacob's review. He found a few articles which were all, let's say, pointing in the same direction. Also, Dr. Eierman, he did a research also from 1988, so quite late, till 2001, on 11,000 subjects or inpatients of a psychiatric hospital, and he found also with holotropic breathing there were definitely improvements, especially on the transpersonal state, and he had a few case studies where he definitely could prove that also on this death anxiety and self-esteem scale people are improving. As we always said, we need more research on a bigger scale in order to really find definitely proof for this. It was very interesting to read this article. I'm very happy about this. Holotropic breathing, yeah, breakthrough experiences. It might actually be the best, let's say, way when people really are stuck in psychotherapy and cannot get a breakthrough, that maybe this might be the tool which helps them just really break through. Thank you very much for listening. See you next time.